Thanks very much, Senator Boyne. Our next speaker is Senator O'Donnell. Senator Niall O'Donnell, and you have 8 minutes.
Minister, thank you for joining us for this discussion, an important discussion, and I'm very happy to support the bill, and I want to commend firstly Senator Swanwick and apologise to him for missing his own contribution at the beginning of this debate, and indeed the seconder, Senator Wilson, as well. And I'm happy to support the bill, Minister, because it recognises a seminal moment among many profound moments which have been outlined by previous speakers in our country's long struggle for independence. And I'm always minded, and Senator Wilson was right, and it will come as no surprise that I would equally refer to the unfinished business of the truest sense of independence as outlined in this declaration. So, when I came to speak here, and I will very consciously not be confrontational, because I do think this is an important piece of work, and I don't think there is anything prohibiting us from reflecting on the revolutionary era, reflecting on the First Dáil, reflecting on the Declaration of Independence, and doing everything that Victor has outlined in a proactive way. But doing it in a way, of course, not just that we learn, but we recommit and rededicate to the spirit and aspirations laid in. So, when I was on my way down to the debate today, Minister, I'm paraphrasing slightly, but that Paddy Pierce quote came into my head: "We, the volunteers, go out not for some of Ireland, but for all of Ireland." The 1919 Declaration of Independence was a watershed event, as was the 1916 Rising and the Tan War, which followed on foot of the Independence Declaration. These momentous events in years from 1916 until the end of the tragic Civil War in 1923 shaped and continue to shape the politics of Ireland. Those who fought and died in this period did so for the independence of Ireland, all of Ireland. They didn't see partition as we know it and knew it. The authors of the Declaration clearly set out its ethos, philosophy and mood in the long tradition of Irish nationhood, in the long tradition of the international and national understanding of nation. And it is this notion of nation which those seeking independence draw of today. The 1919 Declaration set the intellectual, democratic and territorial basis of the Irish nation in a manner which allowed it to evolve as society evolves too. And as a benchmark, a reference point, the Declaration stands the test of time because it is based on the most important and intrinsically indispensable ingredient, the democratic will of the people. The Declaration addresses itself many times to the will of the people. And the will of the people who elected the First Dáil was very clear. But it addresses itself many times to the will of the people, directly and indirectly, and I will quote from a section of it to illustrate its importance. And whereas the Irish people is resolved to secure and maintain its complete independence in order to promote the common weal, to establish justice, to provide for future defence, to ensure peace at home and goodwill with all nations, and to constitute a national polity based upon the people's will, with equal right and equal opportunity for every citizen. In preparing the Declaration, they drew off and were inspired by the previous 700 years of resistance to what the Declaration called foreign usurpation, which the Declaration defines as English rule in this country. And to this day, we all in this chamber and outside of it, admittedly in different forms, continue to wrestle with English rule in this country. The bill before us gives us the opportunity to pay homage to and connect the Declaration of Independence in 1919 and its philosophical imperative almost 100 years ago with the people of the nation. And of course, as I said, all of it, because if we don't, then I think we stain the Declaration. I think we do a great disservice to the people who authored it. So it's good that we're proposing to do so formally and to do it annually. I think that's an important aspect to this bill. I believe, unlike previous contributors, it would add to the importance of the bill if a public holiday was to accompany it. And while I respect and take fully the points made by previous speakers at face value, I don't necessarily believe that because we have a bank holiday that would be of great detriment to our economy. I actually think if we were to do it right and plan for it right and do all of the things that we spoke about, we could actually add and bolster the economy if we were to get it right. And perhaps that's something that we can engage with the proposers on, certainly as this piece of legislation moves ahead. I also thought but as I listened to other speakers during the course of the debate, Minister, in order to help us do it, and maybe in order to show that we in this House are taking our responsibilities serious, maybe one very small and, while symbolic, I don't think just symbolic for the sake of it. I think actually symbolically important. If we were to display copies of the Declaration and the democratic programme of the First Dáil in this House, not just to show visitors and guests, whether they be from schools or community groups or other countries around the world, but as a visible reminder over a period each year to us as members of that ethos and that responsibility that has been handed down to us from that great gathering in 1919, that truly national gathering, that it's a reminder, a positive reminder of what we should do as elected representatives of these houses, but as I say, also the work and the challenges that lie ahead of us and which remain inconcluded. So, Minister Gormaigh Rees, thank you for being here. I think this is an important discussion. I welcome, as I said, the bill. I commend the proposers and I look forward to working with them on it. Gormaigh.
Thanks very much, Senator.